Welcome to Response to Literature 7. Before you begin, please make sure you have the following materials. You should have Response to Literature 7 Steps Lesson Plan. You should have a pen or a pencil, and you should also have your Lupita Manana book ready to go. Let's go ahead and start by putting our name, date, and period. While you're writing your name, date, and period, please also remember to follow the champs for being on the computer. Today is for conversation, we expect your conversation level to be a volume level 0. If you need help for any reason, please raise your hand. Do not ask a neighbor. Your activity is completing Response to Literature Lesson 7, as well as reading the chapter and tracking your movement. If you need to get out of your seat for any reason, you need to also raise your hand or use hand signals. I'll know you're participating if I see you with your headphones on, with your materials in front of you, and you following along. All right, now that we know the champs, let's go ahead and look at today's objective. Today I am explaining the significance of an important event in Lupita Manana so I can increase my depth of understanding when reading. I will know I have met the objective when I can write a power paragraph explaining the significance of an important event in Lupita Manana. Okay, number 1, review the objective and rate your current level of understanding in regards to the objective. Well, I see that again today we are explaining the significance of an important event. So I know how to explain the significance of something because we've done this before. But I'm not sure about today's chapter. Also, we're writing a power paragraph as our proving behavior, and we haven't written a power paragraph as a step yet. So this is something kind of new. I'm confident in my ability to complete it, but not at this time. Hopefully by the end of the lesson. So I'm going to rate myself a 2. Please go ahead and make sure you rate yourself as well before moving on. Question number 2. Use editing marks to revise the following sentence. Then write the corrected sentence on the lines below. Lupita Manana by Patricia Beatty looked deeply at the journey of 2 young siblings to U.S. As you can tell, there are several errors in this sentence. Please hit pause, and when you're ready to check your answers, go ahead and hit play, and you can see if your corrections match mine. Okay, let's go ahead and check our answers. Lupita Manana, because it's the title of the book, needs to be capitalized. Also, Manana only has one A, so I took that out. Another thing we need to do, and I just didn't want to confuse you with the lines, is that Lupita Manana, because it's the title of the book, needs to be underlined. So make sure you have your 3 lines for capitalizing and the whole title is underlined. Okay, so Lupita Manana by Patricia Beatty. So we need to put this in parentheses because it's extra information about the book. Okay, so make sure you insert a comma after Manana and after Beatty. Also, Patricia Beatty is a proper noun. We're going to capitalize both words in that name, the name of the author. Looks is plural. It needs to say looks instead of look deeply. It's Lupita Manana looks deeply at, and we don't need both ats, so I'm going to take one of those out. The journey of 2 young siblings to the U.S. We need a preposition, and the preposition is the. And you can see that I've inserted 2 periods because U.S. is an abbreviation for the United States. Now, we do need a period at the end of the sentence, but we have this abbreviation period for states. So would we put 2 periods? No, we would not do that. We would only put 1 period as to signal the abbreviation and the end of the sentence. We don't need to put 2. Go ahead and make sure you write the sentence with these corrections on the lines if you haven't done so already. When you're ready to move on, go ahead and hit play again or pause if you need more time. Great, let's look at question number 3. It says identify each of the following, that's a typo by Miss Donaldson. Identify each of the following sentence types as simple sentences, compound sentences, or complex sentences. The first thing I'm going to do is give myself a reminder key. I know that a simple sentence is one independent clause. Okay? A compound sentence is two. Remember that word compound means two put together. So two independent clauses. And I know a complex, oh my gosh, it's so complicated. It means it has one independent and one dependent. One independent plus one dependent. A dependent clause is a clause that cannot be a sentence by itself. All right, with that little reminder of what those mean, let's go ahead and look at our sentences. Yusuf runs a mile every day. So I see that I have my subject as Yusuf. I don't see any other subjects, so that's telling me right now it's probably going to be a simple paragraph. Let me just check and make sure. Is this my predicate, my verb, his action that he's doing? Runs a mile every day. Yes. This is his action that he's doing. So I only have one independent clause. If I look at my little cheat sheet I made for myself, that tells me it's a simple sentence. It's easy. It's only one. All right, let's look at our second one. Demaya loves fries, and her favorite are crisp cut. So I have my subject, Demaya. But then I see that Demaya is used again as the subject, using the pronoun her. So I see I have two subjects. So now I need to decide if it's going to be two independent clauses or one independent and one dependent. So let me look for her action or the predicate, loves fries. And let's look for, in the second clause, her favorite are crisp cut, okay? So I don't see this and right here with a comma, that's a conjunction. So that tells me that a conjunction, what's a conjunction's function? Hooking up phrases, words, and clauses. So all the conjunction does is connect two clauses. It doesn't make it a dependent clause. So there are no words left to tell me that one of these is a dependent clause. That means I have two independent clauses, which if I look at the cheat sheet I made for myself, makes it a compound sentence. Next, Martin's favorite subject is PE. Right away, I see that I have one subject. I don't have any more subjects. Martin. Nobody else. Nothing else. And what's the action or the predicate? Favorite subject is PE. So that tells me that, like my first sentence, this is a simple sentence. Because it has one independent clause. Okay, let's look at our next one. Unless I can move tomorrow, I owe full rent. So I see the subject is I, so I'm going to circle I and I. We have two, and the first verb is can move tomorrow, and the second verb or predicate is owe full rent. So I have two clauses. So I'm going to look at what's not circled and what's not underlined. So I see this word, unless. Is that a conjunction? If you think about fanboys, that is not a conjunction. There's no you, unless. Unless I can move tomorrow. This word unless makes this a dependent clause. So I have one dependent, and then I owe full rent. Could that be a sentence by itself? Yes, it could. So this is an independent clause. So one dependent, one independent. This is so complicated. It's such a complex sentence. All right, so we're going to put complex. And for some reason, I decided to write in cap locks that time. All right, let's look at our next one. Lupita is responsible, but Salvador is lazy. So we can see there's two subjects. Lupita is one and Salvador is another one. The verb is responsible and Salvador is lazy. So we have two clauses. So now we can see there's a word that's not underlined or circled, and it's this but, comma with the but. So we know from fanboys that B stands for but. This is a conjunction as well. So I know conjunction's function is for hooking up phrases, words, and clauses. So that tells me this is another compound sentence. For a bonus today, you're going to turn one of the compound sentences into two simple sentences. So I see that we have one, Lupita is responsible, but Salvador is lazy. And then the second compound sentence we have is Demaya loves fries and her favorite are crisp cut. So you can take one of those two and turn it into two simple sentences. Instead of being one compound sentence, I want to see two sentences. Go ahead and hit pause and do that at this time. Great. Now before you move on, do not start your lesson. I don't want to see any pages turning over. No, I want to see you reading chapter 7, part 1. Remember to track with your finger or index card as you follow along with the video. So I should see at this time every single book out and you going to the computer to find Lupita Manana chapters and find chapter 7, part 1. Once you have your book out, you're ready to start reading.